So, right now as we speak, murderous terrorists have come into Gaza, sorry, from Gaza into the south of Israel, and they've taken, imagine it was you for a moment, a couple of options here: dead, wounded, maybe even worse, a hostage by people whose entire upbringing is the glorification of rape, of murder, of Islam has a massive inferiority complex, as many Arabs do, and hence the glorification, basically, of being better and bigger than someone else. And the truth is, Israel is very much at fault because, in the West we have this crazy ideology. If somebody makes a big noise, instead of recognizing them for what they are, which is like this kind of black noise about, what is that thing called, reparations? You know, in other words, theft. Um, when you can't distinguish between a person's motive, which is basically, in that case, money, in this case, literally Nazism, just killing Jews, as um, has been in human history, because people have jealousy, and jealousy leads to murder. And that jealousy is not over something that Jews, even that they're wealthy, many Jews are not. It's actually people that are miserable are jealous of happy people. And so the main reason I'm putting out this video is because something so horrific, unfortunately, many ideas in kind of the radical left's brain came from, as we now know, Russian disinformation, the spies that the top Soviet general that defected, that actually trained Arafat on the lie. The whole idea that there's a Palestinian, that Israel took land from anybody, is just a gross lie and ignorance of history. The easiest way to disprove it is you can just fact check this. When were Palestinians come from the Philistines, obviously? That would When were they erased from human history? 2,500 years ago. Um, so the bottom line is that Russia injected in the West ideas such as pro-gay, anti-Israel, the whole idea of Palestinian. Actually, the spy that, well, he wasn't a spy at that time, he was the head of the KGB of Romania that trained Arafat, who started this lie. He literally, even the guy that right now heads the next organization from Arafat, the PLO turns into the PA, Arafat's second in command, official president, is actually a dictator of the Palestinian. Actually, he learned in a Russian school. His thesis was that the Holocaust didn't happen. You're talking about sick, weird, stupid people. And so the bottom line is that the question is, I was once at a couple of Arab terrorists were protesting products made in Israel, and you have these Jewish ladies, insane people. They're officially, like women in pink, supporting them. So I went over to them. I said, "You support terrorism?" And they're like, "No, we don't." But the thing is, you do. And if you're, quote unquote, on the radical left, and you can't tell that these are the most heinous murders, imagine it was you or your family, right? Unfortunately, the way disinformation works is you get convinced of a storyline, and until it's actually happening to you, you will remain with the story, because the brain doesn't like to be wrong. It's one of the things we hate. We hate being wrong. But you're dead wrong. You're so wrong. It's just unbelievable how wrong you are. It's just like with the Germans that were convinced by Hitler to think that Jews deserve to die. It's not very different. And even if you're Jewish, it's the same brainwashing that's in your brain. So you got to reprogram your brain to reality for thousands of years. I once asked, well, it was actually a Muslim. It was from Pakistan. How come the Arabs, I was young then, how come the Arabs do terrorism? So he said, listen, there was a, there were actually two people that I asked, two stories. So there was going to be a pipeline between two countries. They had a war for 8 years. So like, that's what they do. Anybody that lives in the Middle East that knows the Arabs, knows that they act in a very savage way. And this other guy told me, he says, "What are you talking about? Muhammad, the leader of the Islam and Arabs in a way, he massacred, he raped. The guy was, it's in their book in the most heinous way." So they're just kind of learned from the best of them. And this is what we're dealing with. It's been going on for thousands of years. It's not a new story. It's just Russia was good at making the story just like Germany did, said, "Oh, we're not anti-Jewish like thousands of years. No, we're anti-Semitic. We're a Aryan tribe and they're a Semitic tribe." No, you're a freaking anti-Semite. You're a low life. You just hate goodness and kindness and Jews like every other barbarian in the past. The same thing as this. It's what they hate. If a Jew thinks, "Oh, I'm going to kowtow to them. I'm going to be like them." Well, did that work for the Germans? The Germans were more German. There were people that had like the Purple Heart, which was like the I forget what they call it in America, or maybe it's called the Purple Heart in America, the Iron Cross or something. In Germany, it was like the highest like thing for serving in World War I. There were officers in Germany for the German side, and then I don't know, 30 years later, they're being murdered for being a Jew. So it's just, it never works for a Jew to pretend that he's not, that he's like a Gentile. Just Gentiles want us to be ourselves. They want us to be our best self because we're meant to be a light and then they can be their best self. So in conclusion, everything has to take a lesson. And my belief is that the Mashiach is about to come, literally is about to come. And I have certain signs, so I'm not going to reveal at this moment. But the bottom line is we're going to be dancing in the Beis Hamikdash real soon. And let's just like say, okay, what's the world about? Am I going to allow stupid darkness, whether it's sexual instinct, whether it's fear of shame, designate how I'm going to live my life? Or will I allow God and truth to designate that? Choose well, because we all make a difference. Thank you.